Hello, hello, hello.
Hey man, how you doing?
I have to stop smiling so hard first because now, like, you know how back here hurts real bad. When you smile,
We need to
I
smiling way
was
too much.
I was like, I have to calm it down just a little bit. I have to calm it down because, like, because everyone knows, after I did my interview with you on Little Black Book, like I told you in thousands and 50, I think 54,000 people to be exact,
Mm, mm,
that I'm a huge fan of yours.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It means a lot. Trust me.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you so much, guys. Welcome back to The Missing Link. I am your host, Sabrina Soul. And today I have a very, very, as you well know, because I just told you, a very special guest dear to my heart. I have Kojo Ampa, because I want to say it like I said it before.
Please, I like the way you said it.
Hold on. Empadu.
Oh, there you
Kojo
go.
Empadu.
Oh,
I had to practice it, but it's a certain way he likes
don't
for
play
me
with
to
me.
sing.
Don't play with
So
me now. You won't get
I
me
have
flirting.
I have Kojo Ampadu, the
Mm-hmm.
digital content creator, who is AKA also known as the Little Black Book 91 on YouTube.
Oh,
Look at that
man.
introduction.
Listen, I feel a little bit queasy and nervous. That's how you lot feel when you're on the other side. Good
Yeah,
damn.
yeah.
Right, I'm feeling my heart's going a little bit
You
calm down.
nervous?
I need to grab me a drink, and I don't even drink.
We know you have your water very close,
That's right.
or your
Hydrated.
snacks and your milk.
That's right.
We know you very well.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much. Okay, so on the missing link, I don't waste any time, guys. You know that. I jump right into it because the interview is not about me. It's not about me, not even a little bit. It is about the missing link.
Mm.
And Kojo, my
Yeah.
very first question to you is,
Oh, damn.
who is Kojo Empadu?
Oh, my days. You know what? I ask this question all the time, and when it's coming to me, I don't know. Okay, who am I? First and foremost, I'm a Christian, born again, son of God, if you want to claim it as that. That's my first identity. My second one underneath that would be um, I'm a young I'm getting old actually, by the way. But I'm a young, budding uh, individual who loves to talk about relationships. I'm a person who loves to be able to create happiness for other people. I'm a person who loves love. I'm a person also who thinks a lot. But the question is, who am I? And I think that's such a subjective question. So I'm going to say this. First and foremost, who am I? Is I'm a son to a father called Kofi. And this son here loves to be able to help other people. That's truly what I'm about. I want to make sure that other people are in a healthy position in life, whether that's relationships, whether that's finance, whether that's mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's the kind of person I am. I'm a person that wants to always help people even if it's against my better judgment. So I'll keep it short and sweet and keep it there.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay, so this is part B
mm.
to that question, just because of the what you just said
Oh
about
Lord.
who you are.
Okay.
Where did you get this nurturing spirit from? What
Mm.
made you come to the conclusion one day? Was it an epiphany? Was it something that happened to you? What led you down the path of you feeling like, you know what? I want to help people.
Yeah, do you know what? I think everybody's got, a subset of character or personality traits that they are born with. And I think some people are just naturally born with more of an empathetic spirit. And I think that's me. I've always been that way. And it sounds so cliche, but I remember from probably about 4 or 5. I remember having this one thought. It's just really funny. One thought I had. It was my mum and dad were talking about something, but they were talking about doing the dishes or whatever, right? And in my head, I was like, "Mate, mum cooked. Why didn't dad wash the dishes?" That's not
Mm,
very fair. Why does he do that? Why didn't he wash the dishes? Mom cooks. Why didn't dad wash the dishes? And I remember that being one of my first thoughts from being that young, because I remember that thought in my head coming out as like, why do I think that way? Why am I thinking about justice? I probably should have said that's who I am as well. I love justice as well. I hate things being unfair. And so I saw that from early on. It's just part of who I am. I also think as well, like, it's what you're called to be. And when you're called to be something, you have a subset of character traits that help you get there. So for me, I think I grew up that way. I'm the firstborn as well, so I think that also helps. But I think I think I was just born with a really intuitive kind of mind, because whatever God had called me to, what He wanted me to be in the future, that was going to be needed. So I think that's where the nurturing side comes from. But honestly, my mom's really nurturing as well. I'll be honest with you, she's really, really nurturing that way. She loves to nurture and stuff. So maybe that's also a part of where I got that from.
Right. Understood. So it's pretty much what you were created to be and to do.
I believe so. I believe so.
I get it. I get it. I love that. Okay. So everyone always asks, you have an accent. When you speak, you have an accent. It's an amazing, very nice accent. I love it. I love to hear you speak.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Where are you from? Where is your accent from? Where did you grow up also?
Yeah, so I actually grew up in UK, London. Officially born in St. George's Hospital, I believe, is that Tooting area, around South London. If those of you who know London, around the South London area, I grew up. I was born in that particular hospital. Grew up in Battersea, which is like a shore. It's like a bridge across from Chelsea. Now, I'll explain why I had to say that. Because like Battersea used to be like the poor man's Chelsea. So imagine a really nice area in America and then having the bridge over the other side and basically getting the kind of where the estates and the hood is. That's what Battersea was. That's where I grew up, So I grew up there, but I schooled on the other side of the bridge in the posh area. So sometimes when I speak, you might hear these overtones of me talking a bit almost like you're kind of posh, right? Because the British have this kind of way of dealing with certain status when it comes to the way that we talk. So I schooled in Chelsea, Kensington, and that was what primary school. So grew up there, and it was fun, man. I enjoyed myself when I was there. I was a model student. I behaved myself well. I didn't get into any trouble. I think we got in trouble one time. Okay, I think because
one time
I peed on the floor. That's what I got in trouble for. But by all means, it wasn't my fault. Okay, it was my fault. It was my fault. Okay, I had a little bit of just, I don't know what I was thinking. I actually think about that memory a lot, and I go, why did I pee on the floor? Like, what was I thinking? And I honestly, for the life of me, I don't know what I was really thinking. I think it was just,
just a
moment, a kid moment.
Yeah.
A kid moment. Yeah.
We all have them. We all have them.
You peed on the floor too, or?
Well, I didn't pee on the floor, but I did pee in the bed one time.
Okay, there you go.
And but I thought I was getting up to go to the bathroom. I was like 8 years old and I was sleeping with my mom at the time. And I was like, Mom, I peed in the bed. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be interviewing you.
I know, but we just sharing some stories. We were just sharing some stories. I didn't want to be alone. I still want to be alone. Hold me.
And I'm always keeping 100. So.
I still want to be alone. That's all. I just want to be alone.
So it wasn't on the floor. It was in the bed. But
okay,
it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
Want to be kid. I'm a Toys R Us kid. You're right. Exactly. It's like just don't do that now.
No. We don't do that. We're grown now.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean anything now. Some
people still do.
To each his own though, to each his own. Okay, so what did you want to be growing up?
Yeah. Good question. What do I want to be? I want to be a footballer. I want to be a footballer. Yeah. For you guys to be soccer. I want to be a soccer player.
That's what I was about to say. That was soccer, right?
I want to be a soccer player. I wanted to play for Chelsea because that's Chelsea was, again, that was across the bridge. I wanted to play for the blue team. That was one of my first dreams. I think the second one also too was to be a banker, which I actually became. I actually wanted to be a banker. I wanted to work in banking. I don't know what it was about banking, but I just liked
Probably
the
money.
bank. Yeah, probably the money stuff. Probably the money, you know. Again, it's probably the money thing. So yeah, I wanted to work in banking. And funny enough, actually that I used that for an interview. So when I went to get my first banking job, my mum actually was owning a bookstore. And she banked with a bank called Barclays. I think you guys have Barclays in America. So yeah, we
Mhm.
had a bank called Barclays we banked with. And I remember we had a receipt. I still have the receipt back at the house from when she owned the store, which was 1997, I believe it was. She still had the receipt from one of the books that she had bought, one of the receipts from telling, giving money in. So I don't know how the receipt stayed in the family. I don't know why it still stayed, but I actually used it in the interview, guys. And I showed them, listen, guys, I've always wanted to bank. No, I mean, I told half a story. I mean, come on, I told half a story at the interview, but I made it sound more glamorous. Like, guys, I've always wanted to work with Barclays, and look at this receipt here. I mean, they probably thought I was crazy, but yeah. So for me, that was one of my dreams. It was to be a banker and a footballer, and probably a little bit later on, it was to be an author, which I know I'm going to end up achieving. But yeah, the banker, the footballer were the first two I wanted to be. Yeah.
Okay. I
Mm,
can see all of that
mm.
actually.
Money,
Yeah,
money, money, right?
especially yeah, I can see all of that. Like especially with like your TikToks and your dancing that you do. Like I can see the whole soccer thing you like,
The
like
movements.
you
It's all about the waist movements. You understand? We've
right?
got to dribble
Like
past people. All right. Quick hips. Quick hips. Can't do it now, but quick hips. You know what I mean?
right. But so are you actually in the process or are you writing a book? Like are you
Do you know what's so mad? I've been writing since I was like 13, right?
uh-huh.
And man, like I've got an idea. I'll give you the idea. I won't tell you what the whole thing is, but I'll give you an idea. So I've been writing a series of books. There's like 8 or 9 books all in this series, and it's all interconnected and interwoven. So like there's
Hmm.
one story where it begins with, so the character's called Franklin and the other character is called Kayla, and it's called can boy and girl be best friends, right? So it
Okay.
starts with these two telling about their story. As the story progresses, Franklin meets different people. Like he runs a business, so then he runs like a property business. So the people in the property, another story starts in another book from the people that he meets on the property, and
Mm.
then they meet someone else, and another book starts from that story. There's like 8 or 9 different books, which I started. I'm halfway through, and then as you grow up, you're like, I'm not sure if I should do this or should do this. So I really should be finished. I really should finish, and we're gonna get there. But I'm just letting you guys know. Listen, when it drops, listen, JK Rowling, move over, okay? Because I'm taking the throne. All right. J.R. Tolkien, move over, because I'm taking the throne. Okay, Mallory Blackman, move over, because I'm taking the throne. All right. Anyone else you can think of? Do you know who I really like as an author? Kiki
Who?
Swinson. I don't know if you guys remember Kiki Swinson was writing the wifey books. I like some of those books that are a little bit when you read them, they're a little bit you can tell they're from the hood, but you can also tell that they're a little bit saucy. Okay, I like them kind of books. You know, they'll be saying some stuff in there that you will test your Christianity instantly. You know what I'm talking about? The ones where you read it and they're like the first page, it's like, baby, you need to. It's what we're doing on the first page. Oh my god! So I like not Mills and Boons. I'm talking about our black version. You know the ones where you read it and it's like correction officer or this that, and it's just throws you straight into it. That's the kind of books I'll be liking. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
forgive me, but here's what it is.
I was getting ready to say from where you started this interview
Mm.
to
Yeah.
you don't went from I am coffee son to saucy.
Yeah. Listen,
Kofi son.
some of them books. I'll talk about it one day.
I love it. I love it. So when do you think I'm gonna apply pressure? When do
Go
you
on.
think that we will be expecting this book?
All right, cool. So there's another book that I'm writing currently actually, which is this is one that the audience actually asked for, which was more of a book on relationships, which I'm writing. So that one is actually I need to produce that by the end of I actually need to get it done by the end of the year. There's no argument in that one. So that's got to be done by the end of the year. So that one is called PEW. So if you've heard me ever say it before, position expectation once. And it's a book around making sure people do not fall into any more situationships. We are tired. It's 2022. I don't want to see you in any more situationships, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. There is no more excuses. I'm going to produce a book for you to help you along that journey so we don't fall into it. But also, it's just a really good book to be able to reflect as well, because it's not just talking about situationships, it's talking around why we choose to be in these situations and what is going on in the brain and in the mind and in the psychology of why we got to that point. So, yeah, I had to do some more reading around it to kind of like make sure I got enough of the detail into there. But yeah, so that listen, you guys need to be at me every month. Like, Coach, where's the book at? Because by the end of the year, that book's got to be ready.
You guys heard that right. Slide in his DM, put pressure on him.
Please apply
Put pressure on him. You heard it from his mouth. Because I'm trying to see, and if you ever need, some advice, or if you ever need some cliff notes from somebody that chose herself.
Okay. A1, I could use you as an example. Okay.
Absolutely.
Example A. Okay. They didn't need to know who it is, but they need to know there's an example. Okay.
All
right.
So the only reason I brought it up is because it was relevant. Okay.
I got you. Don't even worry about it.
Okay. All right. So how did we get from? Okay. So
I don't know. That's my bad. I'll be.
And I love it. I love it. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, where are we? I love it. Okay. So my next question to you now is, what is your job profession now? What do you do? What does KOJO AMPADU do? What is your job title?
So I guess in the most simplest format, it's digital content creator, / for some people, relationship coach. So yeah, I guess I hold two titles. So the digital content creator is I spend time creating content for the digital market. So for likes of that platform we use, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Currently, what I get paid through is YouTube, but you do obviously get some kind of sponsorships that will reach out to you through other platforms, sometimes Facebook, sometimes TikTok, sometimes Instagram. Yet to have anything from TikTok just yet, but I'm enjoying creating content, purely dance stuff for you guys, just to have a bit of a laugh and enjoy as well. So that's my job: digital content creator and then relationship coach. So relationship coach is because the audience forced me. Okay, guys, listen, I wasn't going there, but y'all forced me. Y'all said I could be a great relationship coach. That is what I'm doing for you right now. Okay. So yeah, relationship coach. So I get involved and I help couples, married people, divorcees, single people, dating, non-dating. And really my job isn't to tell you to be in a relationship, to be out of a relationship. My job isn't to force you to come to the light or anything. It's more or less to highlight certain patterns. So if you told me you have an issue, my solution to the issue isn't to solve the issue. It's to go back and talk about where it actually started from, and then highlight that from the past to the present, this is what you potentially could be dealing with. And then it's for you to actually do the work, because I can't force you to do anything and I can't push you to do anything. You have to want to do it yourself. So my job is really shedding light on those things. When I talk about relationship, coaching, it's more a case of let's make sure that we can highlight the issue you have, but let's talk about the root so that you can deal with that from the beginning, so that when you get to the end, you've actually done a lot of the work and it's just pruning. Because if you deal with a branch and you chop it off, you still got a root to deal with.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely. So why did you start creating digital content?
I mean, you know what it is? I like to have different thoughts as to why one person does something. First thought is, I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be heard. Okay. I had a lot to say. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be heard. And digital platform was a great place for that. Before I started YouTube, I was actually writing a blog. It's still there. It's called Gentleman Extraordinaire.
Wow.
And it was all about, again, relationships, again, just kind of breaking it down. But I would write and type, and so that was my kind of way of getting out all of this that's in my head, and
Right.
kind of just getting it out there. And because I was kind of helping people already with relationship issues, again, it's going to sound real cliche, but it is what it is. But I was helping people relationship issues from about 11. And someone's going to ask me, what would you know about relationships at 11? Well, I'll tell you what, only 11-year-olds know what 11-year-olds are going through. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. So, you know, but it was interesting. The same way you saw me talking here you see me talking on YouTube, maybe it was less advanced then, but it was the same way I was kind of talking to my peers about relationships, because a lot of times I had a lot of women coming to me saying, this boy's doing this boy's doing that. And I've been looking at them like, yo, come on. Bad
Mm.
boy Paul has been doing this bad boy stuff for years, and you still can't see bad boy Paul's bad boy Paul? Babe, I need you to fix up. Okay, I need you to see it, see the Kenko coffee, smell it. Okay, I probably wouldn't say it like that. I was a bit more kinder, but
Right. Right.
you know, I was also doing relationship advice then, and that actually came because I believe it runs in our family.
Hmm.
So my dad is quite similar. So I didn't hear his conversations, but I heard snippets of him also helping people in relationship issues as well. So I think I just naturally saw that I like that too. I like to help people with relationship issues. And I
Hmm.
think it was just something that's, like I said, is inborn or inbred in one's personality as well. So
Yes.
yeah, it was I started because I wanted to be seen, I wanted to be heard.
Hmm.
And I believe it was part of where I was supposed to go to next. I just didn't know where next. Yeah.
Was, yeah. When did you start creating content? Like, when did you start Little Black Book 91 on YouTube?
Yeah, so I started Little Black with 91 in 2015, I believe, August.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that specifically because when I started it, I had a conversation with God. I'll be honest with you, I had a conversation with Jesus Christ, and I said to him, Holy Spirit, look, if I start this, I have a habit of starting things, not finishing. That was one, because I was thinking about the book at the time. You know, the books I had started writing? I was thinking about that. I was like, Lord, I start things, I don't finish. So if I start this YouTube, I got to finish.
Yeah.
So, I said to him, listen, if this is what you call me to do, give me the strength to start this YouTube and not stop prematurely. You know what I mean? Let me take it to its fullest capacity. That's
Hmm.
conversation I had with God. That's conversation I had with myself, looking at the mirror and going, Jesus, I need you to answer this question right now. And from there, I said, okay, let's come up with a name. And that name, I hope I'm not stealing your question.
No,
Um,
no, no.
okay,
I
cool.
want, because like you're making my job easy. It's like
Okay.
I think you told me that. No, I love it. I love it.
But yeah, the name came from, actually, because a lot of people ask me why the name is. The name actually came from the fact that the Bible was black and leather, the one I had anyway. And then I love the 90s. I love the 90s. And
Hmm.
the men used to have a little black address book. So when you take down numbers, you scroll it down, little address book. You say, hey, I gotta call this shawty tonight. You write the number in there, and that was like my kind of thing. So, you got the talking about relationships, and then you got the Bible. And I put the book together. So we're gonna call it Little Black Book. We're just gonna call it our little black book. So the combination of two things. And then 91 came a little bit later because I think there's a film called Little Black Book, which I didn't know at the time. It's a very
Uh,
famous book, a famous film. I didn't really know.
yes.
So I started realizing people are trying to search for me, and I
Yep.
was thinking I had a unique name, and this film comes up. I was so annoyed. I said, I thought I had a unique name, but not me knowing, that someone had already gone after it. So the 91 came a little bit after, just to kind of, differentiate myself from the actual, film and stuff. So yeah, it was. I started in 2015, and I was determined to conquer.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Well, you did. You
I
conquered
appreciate
it.
that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're well
Thank
on
you.
your way. And the thing is you had a thought, you had a plan, and you executed. And just like you said, you had to talk with Jesus and
Yeah.
God. And and the thing is he gives us the tools to be able
Mm,
to make these things happen. We just have to show up and use
yeah.
them. And that's what a lot of people don't get. It's hard, of course, but it's easy in a sense
Because it's you.
because it's you. All you have to do
Mm,
is apply it. A lot of
mm,
people don't realize that. but
100.
okay. So with digital content creation, what did you, when you first started YouTube and doing videos, what kind of equipment did you use? You said you were 15. Like, were you walking around like with your cell phone? Like, how were you doing your vlogs? What were you recording your content with? Like, what did you use starting off? And then what do you use now? Like, did you evolve? Did you advance? You like, nope, I got the same iPhone 3 I had when I was 15.
Yo, to be honest, you know what? When I first started, I would have started YouTube earlier had I understood that I didn't need all the equipment I thought I needed to start YouTube. Because I thought we needed a super camera to get it started, make sure it's all clear. But then when I actually started looking at YouTube, I see a cat going viral on someone's free GP phone. I'm like, how's a cat playing the piano on this poor quality going viral? Because you psych yourself out of, and this is for anybody who wants to do entrepreneurship or do their own thing. You're gonna this was a part of my podcast I'm also dropping soon. Don't psych yourself out by trying to think about all the hows, because it's the hows that really get you locked in, that goes, I can't do it. Sometimes you just need to start. And so I started off YouTube with a phone. Now I purposely took out. I get contracts, phone contracts, and it renews every 2 years. But my next contract, I made sure that the phone had a good camera. I'm just gonna be honest with you, had a decent enough camera, which was a Sony Xperia Z5, and it had a decent camera. It was the right camera. But I also bought some lights, right? So I also bought some lights. But even before I bought the lights, I simply just started with the phone. That's what I started with. I just started with that phone and I used it as best as I could. I wasn't very good at lighting, everything like that. If I remember, you can still see the earlier videos up there. I was using bedroom light. I mean, lamp light. Okay. It wasn't very appealing. Now when you look back at it, at the time I thought I was a shiznit. I'm gonna be honest. I thought
That's right.
I thought I was living right.
That's right.
I thought I was holy without those
That's
lights I
right.
was showing. Okay. So that's what I was doing. And so that's what I started. I started with that camera. I didn't have no mic or anything like that. That came like a year or two later. Simply that, and then I bought a tripod, and that was it. I was on my way. Tripod, phone connector. Let's go. Let's film some stuff and let's talk. And you'll see it. My very first video is in my garage, because that was the only place I could properly kind of film. And even then, the quality was a bit shambolic. I mean, the thing was doing all sorts of stuff like this, but you know what? Y'all appreciate it, okay?
Yeah. I went back and looked at some of your older videos.
Oh boy.
And you've definitely come a long way, and I commend you for the glow up.
Thank you. God bless you. Okay. The bedroom's clean now as well, guys. All right, because I know some of you are complaining.
Right.
My duvet was hanging over the edge. Okay, look, I just woke up for some of these videos. Y'all need to chill. Okay,
like, I woke up like this.
I woke up like this. I filmed some stuff for you. Y'all go chill. So,
vlogging.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying it all.
Okay. Okay. So how did you become so successful on YouTube? Like, where do you think like your success came from? Because obviously you had to start off with one subscriber, like all of us had to.
Yeah.
And now you're well over 60,000 subscribers. So where do you feel like that your success and the subscribers count, the growth, where did that come from?
Yeah, so I mean, I run with the ethos, which was that looking at the numbers, of course, I want it to be a big one all the time. I want it to be massive, viewership. But I looked at it as how many people would be in a room. Let's say you had a viewership of 100 people, right? 100 people viewed your video. I saw it as 100 people in a room. That's how I saw it. So if I had 100 views, I'll be like, oh, it's disappointing. But I'll tell myself, that's 100 people watching your stuff. Imagine you had 100 people in a room. It sits differently. Now, it's about perspective. I had to shift my focus of perspective. That was number one. Number two, I had a long-term vision, which was I understood, for instance, music. There was an artist in UK who called Wiley, and I remember, was it Wiley? I can't remember anyway. I can't remember the artist's name, but he was saying basically he'd been doing background work for years, like for music for people. And then it took like 5 or 6 years before he blew up. And I was like, everyone's asking, where did he come from? But he's like, I've been doing my thing. Y'all ain't been seeing me, but I've been doing my thing.
Yeah.
And then I had another story, which was the final nail in the coffin for me, which was J.K. Rowling, who I really love, because I love the Harry Potter series. And if you know her story, it's taken her over a decade to write the book she's written.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be thinking, raw, like, oh my gosh, like it's got to be now, because you can only see now. But when you hear some people's story, you realize not everybody's story is now. Some people's story is it takes time to get there, right? Some people's story is a fine wine before it reaches its destination. So for me, when I heard those stories, I said, that's how I'm going to treat my YouTube, that it won't be now, potentially, that I get the big blow up, because I was seeing it from the UK. I was seeing other people that were doing YouTube 3 months, 3,000, 30,000, 100K viewership, subs. I'm still seeing it now. People getting onto YouTube and immediately becoming 100K. And I had to stop looking at them in that light and start saying, that's not me. Because when you start thinking, why is it Usain Bolt can run faster than everybody else, then you won't run at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you think to yourself, well, I can't win the race, well, that's the biggest fault you got right there. You think you can't win the race. Now, you may not win the race. Usain Bolt might win the race, but you need to be in it to at least win it. You know what I mean? If you're not in the race, you can't win it at all. So I had to start rethinking and reshaping my mind to say, actually, success is not going to be determined by what other people are doing. Success is going to be the impact I'm going to make. Can I make an impact on the people that are listening? Can I change people's minds? Can I influence people's minds to think differently? And that was my main goal, to get people to listen. To be fair to anybody watching this, I don't want to make it seem as if I started YouTube fresh. I already had a Twitter following. So I already had like maybe 4,000 people. But again, I had to build that up too. Right. And I built that up by consciously providing content, by talking about things that were important to me, because that's the only thing I can do. I can only talk about things that I know, and I can add some quality to, and I can add some value to. And that's what I have to think as well. What is the area that when I speak about it, I add value to? And so that I built up the Twitter up to about 4,000 people. It's still at 4,000. That's how I haven't done much of it again after. And then I shifted that. I kept on, pushing the links onto Twitter, and eventually kind of transferring that onto YouTube. And then eventually one day I'm sure we'll get there, talking about how I found you guys, as well.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
So yeah, that's kind of mindset I had at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great mindset to have. Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm.
Do you have a favorite YouTuber or influencer that you watched or watch now to get you motivated, or,
Yeah, there is a YouTuber here called Patricia Bright. I think you might know about her as well, but she was the first, I think, Black woman in the UK that went to 1 million subscribers. I mean, she did something unprecedented. And something about me is also, and it's not just a gimmick when I push it, I don't care if you're a woman or a man. As long as you Black, if you achieve something, I'm inspired.
Yeah.
Because if you can achieve it, it means I can achieve it. You know what I mean? If you've done it, it means I can also do it. So Patricia Bright was, such an amazing individual. She was doing vlogs and everything like that. Another person who actually inspired me, who maybe right now maybe doesn't inspire me as much, but I still love her. I got love for you, girl. But you moving a bit cray right now. Was what's her name? Why has her name gone out of my head? She was on RHOA Atlanta recently, but she's originally a YouTuber. Why has her name gone out of my head?
Really?
Yes.
How do I not know this?
And she broke up with her husband.
You talking about her name? Not Cynthia Bailey? No. No. She was a model.
She was on RHOA Atlanta, and I cannot remember her name for the life of me. It's gone out of my head. But she was doing vlogs.
You talking about Jocelyn?
Nah. Baby,
you said she was kind of cray. So
no. She kind of cray. No, she kind of cray now because she had a little issue with her husband.
Kenya Moore?
No. It's still cray though. Latoya Forever. Thank you. Latoya Forever.
Oh, okay.
Latoya Forever. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cray people in RHO, but
everything is alleged, everyone.
Allegedly. But Latoya Forever again is another person who I was watching. I got forced to watch that for my little sister. Shout out to my little sister. you know, because she was always watching her, and like, that was another person. I was like, rah, like she's doing
Yeah.
big things. She's originally from Canada and doing her thing, and I just saw her just growing, and I was like, wow, this is inspirational to see someone just kind of growing like that. So yeah, those were like the two that when I saw them, I was like, oh, okay, these are two powerful people, and I
Yeah.
didn't really see a lot of men in that space, so it was kind of difficult to say what men at the time. This is early YouTube days, so it was kind of hard to have black male role model because we weren't really on the socials like that in terms of
Hmm.
YouTube at a point. It was
Right.
more the ladies that were kind of doing it. So yeah, I didn't really get to have that early kind of role modelish, if you want to call it that, at the time.
Mhm. That is correct. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so this is the $1 million question, which probably is going to make you $1 million.
Oh, good, because I'm waiting for making 1 million.
How do you get your interviews with
Mm,
influencers, people that's been on TV, these
mm,
reality shows? Like,
mm.
how do you get your interviews?
Do you know what it is? I believe, number one, that whenever I do anything, God is first and foremost. Okay, so um, I believe I was called to do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Being called to do what you're being called to a space to do what you're supposed to do means that favor will find you always.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the right lane, things find you. You don't find it, it finds you. And I think sometimes that's what a lot of us on, I won't say a lot of us not in, some people are not in the right lane, meaning you're in someone else's space or you're
Yeah.
doing something because you think someone else told you to do it. If you're in what you're supposed to do, the
Yes.
provision means I'm providing for the vision. That's what God be doing for you. So, you know, when you're in that lane, it happens for you. That's number one. Number two is also then there are characteristics within how you carry yourself that draws people to you. It's a light that you carry. What kind of light do you carry with your gift that makes people want to draw onto you? Because the Bible says, you know, your gifts and talents will make room for you before kings and queens. My
Mm-hmm.
biggest question I ever asked myself was, if I'm gonna draw these people who are on these platforms to my platform, I have to offer some light that no
Mm-hmm.
one else is offering. Which
Yes.
is why for me, and you know, whether people agree with it or not, I don't like the tea thing, because the tea thing becomes very callous very quickly. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes very cold. It can become very bitter. It can become very distasteful very quickly. Shout out to anybody who's doing tea. I'm not trying to shout you out. I'm saying for me personally, how I deal with people is I deal with them on the net as I'm dealing with them in real life. If I'm about to meet you, I'm not about to drop tea about you, right? Because if I meet you, I can't say it to your face.
Yeah.
Right, but I can tell you about your behavior. I can be like, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. The last time you was behaving the way you was behaving, I mean, the way you did it was a bit, you know, it was a bit some way. I'm gonna be honest with you. And so what I try to do is I try to offer something that no one else is offering, which is why I focus solely on behavior.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
I can talk about behavior, who else was doing behavior? I said, well, I can't see anyone else doing behavior. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
that means I'm gonna make sure that I talk about behavior, because I'm sure that anybody watching would be wondering what's going on in what they're seeing. They can see it, but
Mm-hmm.
they need knowledge to be able to fully deep what they're seeing. I'll provide it. And so I believe that those who are on the show too, when I do that, whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it, at least you're having somebody saying, it's not about whether I like you or not. This is not my issue. My issue is not whether I like you or not. My
Mm-hmm.
issue is at least you can see that I'm talking about behavior. And if I disagree, you want to come and challenge me. If you agree, you want to come and certify what I said and say, how did you see that? Or if
Right.
I'm wrong, you're going to be like, yeah, bro, you ain't got enough information to say you got it wrong. But now you want to challenge me. That's fine. Come and challenge me because now you want to talk. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that's how I built the brand around that. And that's anybody who's come onto the panels as well, anybody who's you know, been in my present when we talk about it, I've always encouraged them, talk about the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Right, talk about the behavior. If you drop, for me, if you're around me and you're drawn to me, I'll tell you, talk about behavior,
Mm-hmm.
shed light on that, because people never get to have a breakdown really of our behaviors, not even me. I'm sure some people, they see me, if they start breaking down my behavior, I'm gonna be like, damn, I'm gonna think about it too. So,
Right.
you know, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to shed light in an area that I felt isn't often shed light into. And so that was what I believe is what draws people in. And it won't be everybody's cup of tea, but you surely will sip of the wisdom, I believe. So, yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, with your interviews, who was the very first like star or reality TV influencer, or who was the first person you ever interviewed and you were like, I can't believe I'm about to interview them. Like,
Let
I
me
can't
tell you,
believe, like, mama, I made it. Like,
man,
who
I'm gonna
was,
tell you, man. The first person was, and again, and shout out to Ready to Love, because regardless of what everyone thinks, Ready to Love really helped me put me on the map. So I'm gonna be very honest
yes.
with you. When I started reviewing them, that's what took my channel even further out. So let's be honest. First person ever was London from Ready to Love. Is it first season or second season was
Wow.
on London? Yeah, because he watched one of the reviews and he commented on the video, said he ain't really agree what I said, and he said he wanted to talk. And I said, you wanted to talk? I said, bro, what you want to talk about? He said, and that was one of my first lessons about doing what I'm doing. Because he said to me, I called him a liar, right? And I was like, so what do you mean? Like, you disagree with what I said? I thought you were lying because what you said. He said, but you call me a liar, bro.
Right.
You have all the facts. You can say maybe I was lying, but you just said I was a liar straight away. And that taught me something, right? That particular season was like, oh, okay. Do you know what, bro? I may not agree with you, but I understand what you're saying here. I kind of went straight for accusation. I didn't get all the information.
Mm-hmm.
London, I love you, but I still think there's some, you know what you said. But again, he taught me something in that moment. I'm not here to destroy people.
Right.
I want to make sure I shed light, but I'm not here to destroy people. So when he eventually came on and interviewed, actually that was on Instagram at the first time, and that's actually what kicked off, I guess, this flurry of other interviews that have come up. So I was like looking at London, like, oh my god, I see this guy on my TV.
Right.
He's on my TV.
Right. Like, that's tight. That's
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah, it's
Golly.
crazy. So yeah, shout out to London for seeing that. And then I think other cast members reached out. Ashley from was she first season? Ashley, beautiful dark skin. Ashley.
Oh, I remember Brent was on that season, and Divine was on that season. Was that Atlanta?
Was that Atlanta? Yeah, it might
I
have been
think that was
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah,
I think that
because
was Atlanta,
London
right?
was on Atlanta because he was with Divine. That's right.
Okay, all right then. So there you go.
Yep.
All right, yeah.
Wow.
So
And I
yeah,
think that
she
was the
also reached
second
out.
season.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
man, it was
That's
yeah,
amazing.
they've been great. So okay,
Yeah.
someone said Ashley's first season. Okay, whichever.
Oh,
So yeah, there were some good people just reaching out, at the
okay.
time, and
Yeah.
yeah. But London was the first interview. Yeah.
So do they reach out now, or do you reach out, or does it happen both ways? Like sometimes, like, because I don't know, I think I might have even slid in your DM like, hey, KOJO.
Do you know what it is? I think it depends on the people. Like, I mean, I spoke to Ashley the other weekend. I think we was talking. So, some of the people do.
Yeah.
Some of the people we still talk and we still chop it up. Shout out to as well, my guy. You know who you are, bro. I don't say your name, but you know who you are. Shout you out. But no, I'm playing. But no, for real. I still talk to a couple of cast members. And we still chop it up, and we still, have a bit of a kickback and say, hey, what's going on with you? Hope you're good, etc., etc. And it's good. It's friendly. You know what I mean? I like that. You don't have to sit on top of each other, but
Right.
check in once in a while, make sure everyone's good, and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't you in a relationship with a couple of them?
See, Sabrina. I mean, the streets saying that we in a couple right now. Streets are saying we in a couple right now.
What? Whatever, KOJO.
Okay, but I might just be there for the maintenance. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Hey, I appreciate you all. I'm playing. But I've stolen that word. That was such a great word. I'm just saying.
I can't.
I'm composed.
Okay, moving forward. I did that. I started that, so that's my bad. Your comeback was real good.
My bad.
Do you make money from YouTube, Instagram, TikTok? how do you make your money? And if you do make money from your social media platforms, how much do you make?
So yeah, I do get money from from YouTube. It's changed obviously over the years as the years as I've been doing YouTube for like almost 2.5 years now. So when I first started, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, listen, was when I first started YouTube, I was on zero. And I think my first paycheck from YouTube was about 4 years in. Okay.
Mm.
I've still got the original Google AdSense paper upstairs. I brought that with me to Birmingham. So yeah. And so I think my first pay was about 60 something quid because you have to earn over £60 of a threshold. Now, yeah, I earn probably it depends roughly around about 4 to 8K. It depends on what I've done in a month, right? Depends on what I've done in a
Mm.
month, right? So I'll be honest with you, I like to keep it open. I think January and February we earned 8,000, and I think March we earned 6. So yeah, someone said don't say that number. I don't really mind. Look, it's not a big deal. I think it's good to be open and transparent. You can make a lot of money from YouTube if that's what you're called to do. Go ahead and do it. Do you know what I mean?
So
Right?
you made $8,000 in the month of January
I
from
mean,
YouTube.
that's before the tax, but yeah,
Right, before the
when
tax.
the tax comes in, but yeah,
And
that's roughly what we made. Yeah,
and this is strictly from content, not anything for sponsorships or anything. This is
strictly
strictly
content,
off of content.
strictly content. Yeah.
Wow. Do you make money from Instagram?
No, not yet. I
Mm.
don't. I haven't made any money from Instagram. No,
What about TikTok?
no either.
Hmm.
Although I've signed up to a thing where you can now start earning money for videos. So yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get that going. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely check into it because you do have a following on TikTok and your numbers are rising. And I'm gonna keep it 100, Kojo, just to let you know if you don't know. You can start getting badges from Instagram when you go lives and stuff like that. And I think in
Oh,
order to start making money off of Instagram, you have to have 10,000 subscribers or more. And I
ooh,
think you're there because
I'm there now.
yeah, I do my homework. So you are over 10,000 now. So you might want to check into that. So you definitely have to go and just fill out all the information and whatnot. FYI.
Let's start making that money on Insta, guys. I'm going live. Send your money. Hey, just because I make 8K a month, guys, don't stop sending your money to me. Listen, look, don't. I don't want. I don't want. Some of you will be looking at me like, oh, he make money now. He ain't get my money. Listen, let's not do that. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm providing great content. Keep paying, guys. I appreciate you. All right. All right.
Right, exactly. Exactly. It's a job. It's a job. This is hard work. A lot of people don't understand. Like,
Listen,
it might
Sabrina.
seem glamorous. It might seem like it's cool and fun. People don't understand the.
Can we talk about that hard work?
Yet,
Because
how
people
about
don't
you
really.
talk about it? Because you've been doing it longer than me. And let me tell you, from the time that I wake up and the time that I might go to sleep at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're up for like 27 hours. And I'm like, does he sleep? So please explain it to the people because that's actually one of my questions. And that is, do you have a set schedule to work for yourself, for content or creating content? Like, do you have a schedule? Like, what do you do? How long does it take you to create content? How many
Mm.
hours a day do you work in doing what you do?
Man, Sabrina, let me tell you something, man. This the part that people ain't gonna really realize until they start doing themselves. Okay, so as much as the money is great, it's amazing and fantastic, and I love what I do. So I don't really complain about having to do the hours I do, right? But I used to work a 9 to 5. That was what, 8 hours a day. Okay, with a break in between for an hour. That's 7 hours. All right. 7 times 5 is 35 hours to 40 hours we'll be doing, right? Now, some of you guys are used to doing more, maybe more in your week, or whatever. But I was used to a 40-hour week. That's what I was used to. Normal 40-hour week. Okay. When I started doing YouTube, for instance, when I was doing a lot of before I even became full time, I was doing Married at First Sight reviews. Okay. Now I'd watch the show on a Thursday because the show would come out on a Wednesday in America, but I would watch it on a Thursday after work. So I'm getting home on a Thursday at 6 o'clock, maybe 7, because I've gone to the gym to now watch this show for 2, 3 hours because I had to study it. This 10 o'clock. Then I have to then sit down and film it And that will take another 2-3 hours because I'm doing back-to-back reviews. I'm doing make sure that I can do it, pull it all and go. And then it would take me about another 2-3 hours to, because the way I edit, because I add the video content to it as well, it would take me another 2-3 hours to do the videos together. And then it takes another hour to render the video. So I'm not going to bed till 1-2 o'clock in the morning, right? On a Thursday night to Friday. And then Ready to Love will come on a Friday. And I would do the same process all over again on a Saturday. So Sunday, I was struggling to get up for church. So, and then you realize your weekend's gone. Right? And if there's a show on a Monday, if there's some type of show going on a Monday, it's the same process again. So that was before I came full time. Then full time, when I got full time, I thought to myself, I'm gonna have more time on my hands. I'm gonna kill it. And I mean, it did help. I can do more stuff. But it takes easily, and this is where people don't see, the editing is what kills you. The film is fine.
I have no idea.
It's the editing. Because you have to rewatch it, because just in case you might have said something funky, just in case you might have, said something that was completely false, and you're looking back at it like, what was I saying at the time? You've got to rewatch it. So if you film something for 20-30 minutes, it's at least 20-30 minutes to watch it back over again, plus something, because you have to kind of like stop, edit. That now becomes an hour, 2. So where you think it's like, oh, they're just putting out, that is the effort you put in. And, so for me, it was all about making sure that, it may be tiresome, but I want to make sure that this is part of my brand. So when I put out content, y'all know you're going to get some videos, get some editing in there. You're going to see what the clip I'm talking about. If it kills me, it kills me, but I got to do it because that's what my brand is. I want to be able to put that out there. So yeah, that process, editing, Sabrina, tell them, please.
It's hard, guys. It's hard. It's so crazy because when I put a 30-minute video out,
come on now,
from start to filming, filming it from start to literally hitting send and it's uploading on YouTube, it's probably about altogether about 4.5, at least 5 hours. And that's for a 30-minute video.
Come on.
And that's the minimum.
Come on.
That's the minimum. So, and yeah, and that those 5 hours don't have nothing to do with other content that you're trying to do and create and posts you're trying to make and laundry and dishes and
full-time mom,
right? Being a son, a dad, a daughter, you know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot, and I don't think people really understand. And I'm glad that you kind of put it out there, because it is, when people see what we do, it looks cool. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to start, to be honest with you. I was like, that just looks so cool. Like, you get to walk around and carry a camera all day.
Trust me. You be thinking you're winning till you got to edit.
Oh my God. And that's the killer. And the thing is let me tell you, if you find someone to edit these videos, you're going to pay a good chunk of change.
Oh, baby.
You're going to pay
like
a good chunk of change. And honestly, if you're just starting out, you don't want to spend money because you're not making any money.
You're not making any.
So 100%. Yeah, because I think you said, Kojo, it took you like 4 years before you even got your first check.
Yeah. And it was only 60 quid, guys.
Yeah.
And even a year or 2 later, that was getting $250 a month. It's only when I quit my job that it started growing, because I could spend more time doing videos. And the audience will remember there was a month in May 2020 where I think I produced 80 videos, because I was trying to figure out what formula works best as a business. Because and this is another thing that's really difficult for people to understand. It's a hobby. I loved it at first as a hobby, but now it became my job because I lost my job and this became my full-time gig. I had to figure out the business behind it. There's a knack, there's a niche, there's a way of doing this that makes YouTube financially successful for you as an individual person who's going to do it. And you have to kind of find out your range and find out what works for you. So that month of May, I put out 80 videos. I don't know what to, I was just putting out different stuff I was talking about, just different stuff. I was saying which one would hit, which one would work.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what you have to do though.
Yeah.
You know, you can't post that one video and you're like, this is it right here. This is the one.
That's when
you get like 12 views.
Yeah. Yo, that is disheartening. You've done editing and everything as well. For
now,
5 hours,
this is
for 12
after
views?
5.5 hours, right?
For 12 views? I'm telling you, it is stressful. And when you start seeing, and again, it's hard not to compare because you'll see other content out there, unedited, poor quality, sound might even be off. And suddenly that's 12 million views. And you're like, wait, I'm putting out great quality, great content, and that's not hitting, but that's hitting. And so you don't want to get into that space, right? So yeah, you're building a brand and people can't see you. It's almost like starting a business. In fact, it is starting a business. And if you start a physical business, you have to be aware that you don't have the visibility that a big brand does. You don't have the visibility that Nike does. So you can't expect Nike results. So you have to start building your brand. And one of the key components of building a brand is trust. And I can only trust you if I've been able to connect with your brand over a period of time, because that time allows me to build that trust with you and that bond with you. And be like, okay, that's what they do. And if you're on this space as a creator, a lot of people do what I did, which is hit everything. So I'm talking about everything. But the problem is, as I'm talking about everything, I'm quite dispersed and shotgun. And that works for very few people. There are specific people that can talk about everything that's going on in the world, and it works for them, like a news bank. And there's others of most of us who need to be very specific and targeted and focused in your approach in terms of what you are trying to offer an audience. I had to go for a rebranding, and that was part of that, because I was talking about Christ, I was talking about relationships, I was talking about football, I was talking about church, I was talking about everything, news, I was talking about everything, and I had to come and bring it all in alignment and say, let's choose relationships. We'll do about TV shows and relationships. That's the lane we'll go down.
Yeah, and look what happened. That's one of the things that I actually learned about business, and someone that was successful told me that. They asked me one day, they were like, what do you do? I was like, I'm a fashion designer, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. They were like, well, what do you really want to do? I was like, well, I love all of them. She said, you'll never succeed, you'll never be successful. She said, you're giving 30% over here, 50% over there, 25% over there, 10% over there. She said, how are you? She says, you need 100% in one craft, in one area.
Yeah.
And she says, and once you've mastered that, then branch off and take it to the next level. And it stuck with me. And that was almost 20 years ago. And that always stuck with me, what she said to me. And yeah, and she's right. And you're absolutely right about that. I agree.
I hear that.
Okay, so what? Okay, so I know you're on TikTok. I know you're on Instagram. I follow you everywhere. As a digital content creator, how often do you post, and how often should you post to have the success that you have? Like, how often do you post, or do you even know, or do you just kind of just do it, on a whim, or do you have like a schedule? Like, you got your calendar book, you're like, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm going to do this. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to do this. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, so I have a schedule now, because I was working in wealth management before this, in banking, and that was really important to develop a schedule. So it actually helped me start on YouTube. Sometimes, the job that you're in, ladies and gentlemen, don't quit it too soon. There's lessons to learn. So I learned that lesson before I went into YouTube, in terms of scheduling, but I didn't really implement that maybe until maybe 6 months later, because I didn't know how to kind of schedule my time, because I was just trying to float. You know what I mean? I was just trying to float. But now I actually have a schedule, so I know, and obviously because certain shows are aired on certain times, you guys know Thursdays and Fridays what they're really about. So yeah, I have a schedule. I've got a kind of like schedule that I had similarly to how I had to work and stuff. The truth of the matter is, sometimes I'm really awful at following the schedule. All right, in terms of giving myself a good break, and so it can become very difficult sometimes. But yeah, I have a schedule that allows me to make sure, okay, I'm creating content at this time for I'm creating content at this time for YouTube. I have a schedule saying, okay, I'm creating content for TikTok at this time, because when I go to the gym, I kill two birds, one stone. That's why y'all see so many videos at the gym. I'm killing two birds, one stone. I'm saying at this time, when I go gym, I'm a gym for an hour and a half, and I'm gonna do an hour and a half of content creating on TikToks. I'm gonna hit it all out. Right. So if you see me in the gym and you don't think I'm not working out, yeah, but you think I'm not doing several days. I'm doing one day, knocking out loads of videos, then putting it on day by day. So that's my kind of schedule. In terms of frequency, again, the favor on some people's lives, I don't want to be too specific, right? But someone might say post every day, right? So for on TikTok, it is post every day. I'll be honest with you. If you need to be posting pretty much every day on TikTok, okay, all right, yeah, you need to be. For those who are normal and don't have a following elsewhere, because what people don't see is that where I'm starting from, where you're starting from, where other people are starting from, it's not the same base. Some people have a Snapchat already with loads of followers, and all they've done is transfer those followers onto TikTok. So what you're seeing is somebody going like that. They're not going like that. They have already a base. Similar enough to YouTube, at the same time it happens as well. So yes, TikTok is a day. In fact, some people even encourage 3 or 4 posts a day. Yeah, but the same principle remains. Remain focused. That is the key thing. Remain focused. It's not about posting every little thing. Choose a niche, nail it down, post every day. That's TikTok. Instagram, again, is similar enough. It can be a post a day. But again, with Instagram, I think the key thing with Instagram, what I've noticed as well, especially, is quality posts. So it's slightly different from TikTok. TikTok is like, just put on something funny, entertaining, people are gonna love it. With Instagram, it's less about the entertainment part. It's more about the visual. It's the quality. People are buying the quality. So if your content and your quality are great, people are gonna really buy into it. Right? I mean, the explore pages, whatever you're there for, you're going to see content. You're going to ask yourself, what do you gravitate towards and why? Because that's the answer to your actual problem and solution as to why maybe you're not growing on that platform. You're not doing what you are looking for. You go on a platform and you see great content and you stop. Why? Because it's great content. There's something about it. So yeah, with Instagram, it's definitely quality. I would say quality in a, let's say, 2-3 day burst. I think if you can do that consistently, you're good, because I think what people like to see that kind of growth and see that. But again, it depends what you choose. Posts, reels, if you're on reels, you drop a little something, but yeah, that's for that. But YouTube, you've got to choose a frequency on YouTube.
Yeah.
Whether it's every week, every month, every day, you've got to choose a frequency, and it has to stick. You can't faff around with YouTube. You can faff around with the rest of them, but YouTube will spit you out. And what I mean by that is because what you're gonna find, and it's also psychological for you as well, right? You might put out a video and it might get 1,000 views. Get excited. You put another video, get 12. And you start asking the question, what happened? Well, you won't know what happened. You only put out 2 videos. You physically can't work it out, right? So you've got to choose a frequency, because people are tuning into YouTube like they're tuning into a TV show. They're clicking on your channel and going, that's why it's called a channel. It's called a program, right? Every week I know I'm going to get Sabrina, so I'm going to click on her page. Or every day I'm going to click on her page because I know she releases daily content. Or I can choose someone who's going to choose every month, and I know every month they're going to drop a video.
Yep.
Whatever you choose, it just got to be consistent, because we're tuning into your channel and your program. Let me know when it is. I mean, it helps have a banner as well, but do what you said you're going to do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I would say about schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Because one thing about YouTube is if you're not consistent, they're real funny about algorithms. If you're consistent for like 6 months and you fall off for like a month, those 6 months was for nothing. For nothing. You got to start all over.
Right.
And it might even take you longer. Like for some reason, the algorithms will be like, "Oh, you back? Well, you got to wait in line now, homie." Like for some reason. So just be consistent, guys.
Trust me.
We trust
Be
you.
consistent.
What do you like most about your job?
Freedom,
Yeah.
freedom. And do you know what? It's something that I love about the job, which I thought I would hate, is the tension and the stress that comes from knowing that my daily bread is made from this particular platform. I hate it, but I love it because it
Right.
means I can also earn as much as I need to earn if I want to. And
Yeah.
if I don't put the work in, I know it's my fault, my responsibility. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? If I don't put the work in, I don't eat. Right.
Yeah.
So that tension, I knew I knew of that about myself, that that's not good English, but I knew about myself was that I like working under pressure,
Yeah.
right? I like the pressure. But when I was in a job phase, when I was 9 to 5, I hated things like sales. I hate any kind of job where you have pressure.
Mhm.
I wanted that safety. But with YouTube and digital content creating, working with sponsors and stuff like that, the pressure I love is the fact that the only pressure I can feel is it's my content. The
Right.
only pressure is my standard. I got to make sure it's great to my standard. If I know that's my best, all right, it's my best. If you don't like it, I couldn't. That was my best. I gave you my best. So for me, that pressure is really is a beautiful thing, as well as sometimes a little bit scary. But I love that pressure. I thrive underneath it, and I think also the freedom, because when I was working in a job, there was a restriction always. I'm a bit of a maverick. I'm a bit eccentric. I do
Mhm.
press ups at work. People don't understand why. It's because I've got the energy just flowing, and I want to do something. And it's like people think you're maybe showing off or being too much, and it's not. There's just so much tension in your body. There's so much stuff because you want to do more. Your
Mhm.
job says you can only do so much because
Right.
the energy you're giving out here, that's not professional. That's not the work ethic. This is not what we have as our rules and our community and how we work it. So you are always feeling restricted as somebody who's a true creator. If that's really your thing, like you want to do creative, when you feel like you're being boxed in.
Mhm.
So it's not for everybody, but when you're being boxed in. And I felt that for a long time, that I was always being boxed in. I remember one time when I was working in a bank, I used to leave post-it notes everywhere of notes of relationships. So when I get an idea about relationships, I write it down a post-it note. But I was leaving it everywhere around the bank. I'll just be forgetting about it. I write it down, and I walk away because the customers called me or whatever. I'll forget about it. And then my boss was calling me like, "Coach, we keep finding
Sticky notes.
sticky notes. Like, I love the fact you're being, but can we not
Mhm.
leave the sticky notes everywhere? It's unprofessional. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's just like it's just in you, it's all over you, and
Yeah.
you can't stop doing what you do. So the freedom to be able to do what I do best, which is be me, and then use the skills and traits that I have already, which is talk about relationships and break it down.
Mhm.
That for me is the beauty of what I love to do, which is why when I wake up, I don't ask what day it is. I just say, what have we got to do? Because I'm ready to do it. I know
Yeah.
it sounds mad, but yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
get it. I get
Mm.
it. I'm the same way. I
What you get?
never
What
knew
you get, girl? What you get? Tell them what you get.
it.
Mm. Mhm. Well, tell them what you get.
I get it. I get it. Like I'm just like when I wake up, and I've said this before, but not to talk about me, but I
No, it's
remember
cool.
like I'm the person that gets up and I'm like, I smile and I'm like, ah. I open up my curtains and I'm like, I hear the birds chirping and I'm like that's me. That I live for life. And I think
Mm.
that once I realized, and how you say it, once I realized what my purpose was, everything changes.
Come on.
Your mindset,
Mm-hmm.
the way you view things, like you view it in HD, like it's crazy. And everything else that's supposed to matter doesn't
Thank you.
anymore. Like it's crazy. But anyway, back to you. Okay.
But you said what you said what I need to say. Thank you.
So I get it. I get it. Okay. So what do you like least about your job?
Hmm. I think sometimes the amount of hours it takes. And I
Mhm.
think it's because just like starting a new business, it's your baby, you've got to grow it.
Yes.
I think once you get to a certain level, it starts to the child starts to kind of fend for itself a little bit, right?
Mhm.
Which the YouTube's kind of doing a little bit by itself. But I think it's the amount of hours that we put into it. I love it, so I don't mind the hours. But that part of it, I'm like, it's a lot of hours we putting in. Like, we, spending time editing, doing this, doing that, and it can be a lot. It can be consuming. That's one of the things. I think the second thing for me, which is going to sound so weird, and people maybe understand, maybe they won't understand this. I don't have it as much now, but one of the things I struggled with was being able to align my faith with the creativity aspect, because I always found myself trying to choose one or the other. So if I'm hot in my faith, I was like, I couldn't really be creative. Then if I'm hot on the creative, I couldn't really be in my faith. And I was struggling to find a balance between the two. And it was one of the hardest things to try and get right. And I'm still trying to get it absolutely kind of at a good equilibrium. But it was one of the hardest things too, because if you're really strong in your faith, you find yourself on the creative side at facing certain lines like, can I do that? Can I say that? Can I go there? Am I allowed to? Like, you find yourself in that space. And so that was one of the hardest things, I think, for me, being a creator. Like, for instance, if I'm dancing and I'm shaking my ass, and I got people asking me, but is that a Christian thing to do, coach? I'm like, oh man. I mean, I'm just trying to shake my ass. I'm just joking around with it, like it's just me being funny. But it's like, oh, should you be doing that? You're a Christian. You're burning. Okay, no, but joking. No one's ever said that. But you know what I mean? Like, it's trying to find that balance, and so, and also trying to figure out whether you're. It's almost like the actor that's Christian. Should he do a kissing scene? Should he do a sex scene? Is he allowed to do that? Each person's got to ask themselves that question, because it's a personal thing, and what you believe that you're okay to do or not to do. And I think that struggle was hard, figuring that out in terms of what I can and can't do. And like I said, I ain't got it all the way. I'm trying to still make sure that for me is one of the hardest things.
Yeah. So when it comes to, and this isn't even one of the questions I had on my list, but so when it comes to you creating content, is there any content that you would like to create, but you don't create because of your faith?
Oh,
that's a good question, huh?
Good question.
Because I'm like, because okay, let me let you talk.
No, okay, so I think I just did some this year. So it's the topic sex. I'm going to be very honest with you.
Okay.
It is about the topic sex. All right, let me say it quieter so you shouldn't pick it up. That is the biggest aspect for me, because I'm so intrigued on the topic, because it's something that, whether you're Christian or not, people are doing behind the doors, right? And I asked this question: how do I improve my knowledge around this area? How do I understand my, this aspect without having conversation, without reading, without, getting deep in it? But then if I get deep into it, am I sinning now because I'm reading about sex? Like, so even the content, sometimes I'd be like, whoa, like, I was like, am I allowed to do that? So we recently had a live where we had a Christian sexologist, come on and talk about sex. And, it was good, But then I asked myself the question, are we allowed to go there? Because I got questions, okay? Like, I've got questions. And the funny thing is, I'm now on a mission, partly as well, to kind of like, I'm willing to take a risk into jumping into that area. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? If I get it wrong, I get it wrong. But I'm willing to plant the flag in that area to say, I think we need to have more conversation about sex. Yeah, we're gonna need to have more, right? And if that means sometimes I get it wrong because I don't sometimes, don't always be PC enough, or I don't cover the subject the way as a Christian as I should, I still want to have it, because I've seen the power of having this conversation, how it frees people, because people got questions and there's no safe space to ask these questions. And especially in our generation, we got questions, whether you married, whether you single, whether you dating, whether you celibate, whether you're not celibate, you got questions. Okay. And some of y'all ladies out here are suffering, and I don't want you to suffer no more. Okay.
So I got a question.
Go for it.
Are you waiting until marriage?
I mean, I am. But does that mean that I don't have Cornelius moments?
Right. No.
I'm so sorry. I shouldn't do that. I'm not like that, guys. I've changed my ways. I've changed my ways.
Moving on.
I've changed my ways, guys. I've changed my ways. I'm not like that.
I just choked on my spit a little bit.
I've changed my ways, guys. I'm not that. Cornelius, I love you, bro. Don't shoot me. It's for banter only.
Okay. What would you tell anyone who is interested in becoming a digital content creator?
Yeah, man. This is a really good question as well, because this is something that I learned as well. The key thing that I would tell anybody is, why are you doing it? Because you really need to know why you decided to take this on, right? Because if you're gonna shift from being hobby to being real serious about your business, you need to know the why. If you don't have a why, sit down, figure it out, because we're all buying into whys, right? Why I like this person. You figure, people do this instinctively. They choose someone because they offer something to them, right? And so that why is what's going to keep you on the road. Because my mission and purpose is to really make sure that everybody has healthy relationships. I want to help people have healthy relationships. I want to help people have more discourse around issues around relationships, to have a healthier relationships. That's my why. That's my focus why. I will always do that in every video. I'll try to make sure, let's have the discourse. Let's talk about something. Let's highlight this. Let's bring in information in this area so that you have a healthier understanding of relationships. That's my why. It never stops. That's what keeps churning, right? So every person should have a why. Number two, I would say as well, success is not over. It does not come overnight for everybody. It may be for you, and that's brilliant if it does. Thank God. We praise the Holy Jesus if you get it. But a lot of us will not have that overnight success. So you may need to put in work.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be afraid of the work. All right. The hard slog and the hard nights are so you can tell a great story at the very end. It's gonna be a hell of a boring story if you said, I put one video out and it became 1 million views on the first hit, and now I put any video out and it becomes 1 million. Because you ain't teach nothing to nobody. Right. So the hard slogs, the struggles, the failures, they make the greatest stories, right? Because we all need that, valley and peak and trough. So, I would say to anybody who's going to be digital content creating, make sure you're able to do the why. Make sure you're also able to, enjoy the process, go through those ups and downs. And then the third thing I would also say is, that what separates you from everybody else? We talk about, everybody knows this common word, USP, USP, USP. But honestly, on the truest level, what separates you from everybody else? And that is your unique selling point. What are you selling that's different to somebody else, right? I think I just saw on the Instagram Spiritual Word, a Black lady had created travel bed sheets. And I said to me, wait a minute. So nobody has thought to create disposable bed sheets for travel. Yeah, none of us thought of it, right? You probably did. You're probably sitting at home saying, I thought of it. You're right, you did. Because you didn't do it, someone else did it. Right? So I'm telling you right now, if you got an idea, stop asking how and just start putting it into place. It will start to come together. You just need to start. It's almost like a snowball started going along. So yeah, don't be afraid to fail. And my last thing is this: don't be afraid to fail, because I got on a plane from South Africa coming back, and I started looking at the plane. I said to myself, do you know that 2 brothers decided in their madness to throw themselves off a hill with paper wings, wanting to fly? And now we are in a position where we have an aeroplane. I just need, look, it's gone from there to there, but somebody had to be mad enough to say, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So are you going to be mad enough to say, I'm going to do it? If you are, then go for it. If you're not, sit at home, leave it alone. 9 to 5 entrepreneurship. We need people in both areas. Okay. Not everyone has to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone has to be a digital content creator. Not everyone has to be an athlete. Know your space. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that answer. Such a great answer. Are you working on any projects right now? And if yes, would you like to share?
I am. I'm working on like I said, that's what I was some of the stuff I've been telling you, I've been putting into a podcast because I wanted to make sure it's a different space for helping digital creators who want to go into that particular area. And so I'm working on a podcast, Dare to Dream. I've recorded a few episodes already, so I'm actually putting the work in. This one I'm not stalling. So I've put in a few episodes already in. I haven't released it yet because I want to do a few episodes along the way, get that kicking, and then give you guys a series. Then we get it going. All right. So I want you to watch out for that. And then I got a second podcast. You guys might have seen it on my Insta. I've talked about it. It's called F Boy Podcast. And I've called it that because I want to tell you guys a little bit about what F boys do and also explain a little bit about my journey, because I was an emotional F boy. There are different types of F boys out there. Yes. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, there are different F boys out there. They're not just one type. So I want to be able to kind of tell you a bit my thought process and just break it down, articulate why F boys do what they do and what kind of mindset they have. So I've also started recording a few of those episodes as well. So we're gonna be releasing that in the middle of the year. So you probably get that in August time. No, maybe even a little bit earlier, July even, because we already recorded a few of the episodes in the series already. So look out for that, guys. It's gonna be interesting. And if you've obviously, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been an F boy as well, F girl, you should contact me because it'd be good to hear some female stories. We want to know about it's not just boys doing the madness. We want to hear some of the ladies' stories as well. Okay. We just meant to be shocked. Yeah.
I have so many questions, but I don't even know if that's for a whole nother interview
What
or
question you got to ask, Sabrina? What you want to ask?
so what made you how did you know that you were an F boy?
Yeah.
What made you an F boy? When did you stop becoming or being an F boy? And why did you stop being an F boy?
I think I became an F boy after the first I think after the first girlfriend, when she told me something, she said, look, she went out. It's one because I was a real naive kid, do you know what I mean, in terms of love and that. And she told me she went out, I couldn't go out late. And then she told me she started liking some other dude. And she told me that's the truth. And I appreciate it because she was always telling me the truth. She told me that. And that was a day that my heart got broken, and it got broken in a way that couldn't be repaired. To take that straight now. And I think a lot of boys in that same position, a lot of us have got fantasies of what life is to be like. And that one breakage broke me. And that was just a start. But then I hung around other men or boys, I should say, who were moving in that way. And the key word that they say, birds of flock, whatever, fly together. You know what I'm saying?
Birds of a feather flock
That's
together.
it. Birds of a feather flock together. That term is all the way true. Because good company, or I should say bad company, corrupts good morale. Yeah. All right. So I picked up a lot of what they did and I reinterpreted it because what I was looking for is what they're looking for, which is power. Do you understand? So my power though is not overt. I don't want to be overt. I like to be behind the scenes and pull things. They like to do things overt. That's not my thing. I don't want to get caught. That was my thing. So that when I realized, oh, I do that stuff. Oh, wow. Emotionally manipulate. Oh, damn. You mean, I distance myself to make you react? I didn't. Oh, damn. I do all of that. Oh, I took that phone call. Weren't really a phone call because I wanted you to feel some type of way. Oh, snap. Oh, I didn't realize I I didn't realize I was doing all that. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So I was doing a lot of stuff that, at first I wasn't really realizing. But when you're introspective, you have to face yourself. And when I faced myself, I realized, and you'll hear it in the podcast. I talk about it the day that I got told. It's one of my F boy friends told me that, Coach, you are no better than me. You are just as bad. Just because you ain't sleeping with girls doesn't mean you're not F-boying them. Because you're selling them dreams. You're leading them on to the promised land and then leaving them at the promised land and going away. They're thinking they're going to have the whole experience and then you leave them there. But you like that because you like dragging them to that hill knowing you can get it. You're just an F-boy like me, bro. And that's when I realized, oh, I'm an F-boy. I'm an F-boy. And guys, I'm still trying to... no, joking.
So this doesn't have... So you calling yourself an F-boy has nothing to do with... intimacy. It has everything to do with you. It's more emotionally you were messing with them.
Yeah, I was messing them emotionally. I wanted to see if I can get you to that place. And if I can get you to that place, I didn't need to go any further. And the only reason why I didn't want to go any further was because I was scared if my performance was going to let me down. I've done a great job getting you there. I can't flop that thing. Right. So I'll be honest with you, this is what I was like when I was younger. I had a fear there because I was Christian too. You're not meant to have sex. So, I wanted to make sure I was safe before I did that sex thing. So my thing was, if I want to play you, I'm going to play you in dragging you to that hill, get you there. And if you're about to want to have sex, be like, I don't need it. I'm good. You're all right. You're right. You're right. And sometimes it really worked out for me because they'd be like, oh, you're not a bad boy. Nah, I'm worse than all other guys, man. At least other guys are giving you something. You knew what you're going to get. With me, I'm dragging you to the hill and I'm not giving you anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what made you decide on this very day, not this day, but that day that you stopped and you were like, I'm not going to do this anymore?
When I gave my life to Christ, if I'm honest with you. When I gave my life to Jesus.
How long ago was that?
The way you said that was like 22. So 22, 23. And even then, I didn't fully reform. And I'm still not fully reformed because I'll tell you why I'm not fully reformed, because when you become very introspective in terms of why you do what you do, every thought becomes darker because now you understand every thought that goes into an action. So Solomon said it best: wisdom is also misery, because being able to understand every single thought that goes into an action, some people can genuinely say, I was ignorant of that. I can't say that. If I do something, most times, I can't say, oh no, just, I was playing. That's why I can't. Because when I review, I go, that thought, you got an ego, that was pride. Okay, that was this, that was that. You were fearful, you were scared. I can hear all the thoughts going into that particular action. So it becomes a problem, right? So someone said it in the chat as well, it's very dark. Yeah, but all I'm explaining is what people don't usually explain. You just see the end of the behavior. But when you actually explain the behavior behind it, it's all very dark. If he cheats on you, it's very dark. That's what I'm saying. Like when you actually start to deep the actual thoughts of what human beings think as to why they do what they do, people use I'm ignorant or I don't know why I did what I did as a cover-up for what he really dark thoughts. You cheated or you moved mad because really and truly you could. You didn't respect that person. They were going to take you back. Or, you know what? I can do whatever I want whenever I want. You have dark thoughts. And so the podcast is really about bringing those dark thoughts to the plane and saying, look, there is darkness here. And there is a darkness even in myself, even now. And there has to be a barrier where I have to tell myself, don't do that. Don't say that. Don't react here. Because your reaction now at this point could be an aspect of manipulation. It's I know Sabrina.
I like to listen because I like to learn stuff. That's how I learn a lot of the stuff that I learn in my life, because I love to listen. I'm a good listener. I always say I listen to anyone and everyone that's willing to talk to me, because you never know what you can learn and from who. So, wow.
And I guess the final thought on that is the difficulty behind even explaining it. There's an ego behind explaining it.
Right.
And that in itself is a problem. So even when I'm explaining it, I'm exposing it, but I'm also having an ego behind it. That's the honest truth, right? Because just like a criminal, I want to explain to you how greatly I got away with this particular crime, right? So although I'm explaining it and I'm genuinely wanting to help other people by explaining it and breaking down what's happening as to why they're doing what they're doing, there's also an ego behind it. Because as an intellect, you want to show people that you're intellectual. That's an ego.
Right.
This is why Christ is needed in my life so much, because the more I understand me, the more dark I realize I am, because I start realizing the motives behind actual actions. I have to ask myself the question. You've invited me here and I appreciate it, but is part of me talking so much because I'm excited, or part of me talking because I like hearing myself speak? You start asking yourself some real questions, And then you have to start really checking yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the difficulty behind even understanding oneself. When you understand yourself too much, that's what Solomon was talking about. There's a misery because you can never really truly be happy. Because I won't say happy, but you can never truly be fully all the way because you're conscious all the time of, hey, are you really being genuine right now? Are you genuinely sharing this information because you want to share it? Or are you sharing it because you want to show that you're better than people? You want to share it because you want to show people that you're wise. You want to share it because you want to show people that, you know what, you have the answers. And that's every time. So there's always that struggle in the mind, like, of those things. But what can you do? You can only, do what you're called to do. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. And a lot of times, a lot of people aren't able to get past that threshold within themselves spiritually because they're still lying to themselves on
Mm,
why they're talking so much. And they'll never be able to fully, and I think that's where some of that F-boy mentality that you speak of
mm,
still will exist in the person because they're sitting there lying to themselves the whole time.
mm,
Like, no, I mean, yeah, I like how I speak, but no, I'm not talking because I like to hear, like, I'm spitting the word, I'm spitting facts, that's what
mm,
I'm doing. But the whole time in the back of their head, they like, I love hearing myself talk.
mm,
And they're lying to themselves. They're not being honest with themselves.
mm.
And that's it's crazy. And I think that once we start being honest with ourselves, this world will be such a better place. Um, because a lot of the BS in between would be like gone. It's like that middleman, which is like not that real man.
Yeah.
It's like that fake person, that representative.
Yeah.
It would be, they would be all gone if that was the case. But anyway, honey, this has been, I don't even want it to end. I don't want it to
Me
end.
neither, boy. I'm
I
just getting
love,
started.
you said it's just getting started. Come on, well, what you got? Give it to me. I'm ready. Look, I'm listening. I'm all ears, and I think everyone else is too.
No, but okay, so because we're talking about the podcast, and I want I'm going to be inviting some other men to also come and share their thoughts. Um, but it's a profound thing because I think once I started just kind of writing it down in terms of notes and stuff like that, I found some interesting thoughts that were lying there, right? In terms of that, for men, the search for power is often what leads us to disarming other people's power. And I mean that by saying we choose people who seemingly society will disadvantage and we take their power from them. And so the F-boy is doing what, unfortunately, what white people did to black people, okay, and still doing to black people, okay, right? The man is doing what the white man has done to black men or black women, right, to the black race. It's the exact same concept. It's stripping somebody of power. Because the attainment, the privilege, the right that you may feel you have, a lot of people don't realize they sit on that edge. A lot of us men, boys don't realize that because we're not aware that we're in privilege. We know we have it, but we're not really conscious of it. We grew up in privilege. And so we just think it's our right, to move mad and to maybe cheat on this girl or treat this girl badly or do dirt to this girl. Because really and truly, how a lot of us men look at women is how white people look at black people. We will actually say the audacity if a woman cheats on us, the audacity of a black man tries to outdo a white person.
Right.
It's the same concept. So I started seeing a lot of similar concepts between the male privilege and the racial privilege that we see in our societies. It's the exact same thing. And once you start seeing that, you also then start seeing the difficulties trying to remove men from that privilege. Because it's very hard, and this is maybe another conversation, maybe another day, why I was talking about the Will Smith situation, the way I was talking about it, because it's about being able to decenter men from the conversation and take them out. Because like sometimes what happens is, like white people will do, they will center themselves in the conversation. The Will Smith and Chris Rock thing became suddenly white folk had everything to say about it. Bro, you still got people you got to sort out. You still got people you got to sort out. You better deal with your people first before you start coming onto here and start making racial tropes. But they didn't take them long before they start making racial tropes. Certain comments that you could see were laced in that little rice or something that they got, right? Because they're so used to having power over us and telling us what is good and what is bad. And the same with us as men, we're used to, because of the way we've grown up in, saying what is good and what is bad. So for women, when we're dealing with women, we often deal with you in a place of privilege. That's how we deal with you, because that's how we're born into. And it's every man's act should be to decenter themselves and step down from that privilege so they don't mistreat people. Because human beings naturally, when you have privilege, will abuse the people who are less privileged than them. And why would I give up the privileges I have for you? I wouldn't. So a lot of times the F-boy antics are because we've been robbed somewhere else. We've been hurt somewhere else. We've been robbed of the power we have, and we go and steal it from somewhere else. So women become our focus, right? We feel good. Oh, we played that girl. Oh, that girl was feeling me and, she likes me. Yeah, but come and see when one girl does it, how the man reacts. Suddenly the world is concaving in because he has privilege. It's not the fact she played him, it's privilege. And then pride kicks in because he's like, how can a woman play me? How can she do me dirty? Is she all right? Is she okay? Right? And that is the privilege and the pride reacting in that moment. It's not about the fact that she played him, just that. That's part of it. It's hurt, it's pain. But the privilege and the pride kicks in that moment. And it's like, no, can't be me. And you have to be very careful as a man when you're in that situation, because you could easily flow into violence. And that's the problem with the fact that you're a male and has a physique or you're sizable. Your next thing could be violence.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's once I started diving into the mindset of it, I started realizing, okay, yeah, maybe I didn't jump into violence or anything like that. But now I see why these men were, because there's that extra stop that I may have had, they might not have had, where I had a Christian upbringing and I had certain teachings that may have stopped me, but some others, they may not have had that stopping barrier. Now I see why they did what they did. Damn. It's crazy. So you start to realize now, then the world becomes even more scarier. And I think that is what I'll say is my last point on this, is that's the conclusion I came to, which is that unfortunately we live in a world where brute force tends to win. Even as an intellect, your pen can only take you so far. I know they say the pen is mightier than the sword. It's a lie. It's not. The pen is not mightier than the sword in this world. The sword is mightier than the pen. Because if those who are strong enough to pick up a sword will pick up a sword and take people out, they will. And those who have pens can't stop the sword coming. So the world is a very dark place. And so those who have power to take will take. Whatever part of society you look at, they do that. And then you start to realize, wow, okay, when we talk about even violence against Black women, where is it coming from? It's that privilege. It's that power. It's that lack of discipline. It's the fact that, you see the counterpart individual person not as a human being. You see them almost as an equivalent to an animal, because that's the way that you treat them. They are beneath you. That's how our counterparts racially see us as well, as animals. And yet we do the exact same thing to our women. We don't say it out loud, but we think it. And as a man thinketh, so is he, and so shall he do. Yeah. So, it's opened up my mind to a lot of things, trying to expose myself. It's opened my mind to how the male mind and psyche can get to even darker corners, to some really unfortunate actions that men will take. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I get it. I just had this conversation with someone else a couple of weeks ago.
Talk to me.
I don't think that I'm allowed to have this conversation on this platform on how deep it got. And the things, and it was with a male, and the things that he does that he does not feel comfortable with telling anyone else.
Mm.
But it's because of his dominance and the trait that he has within him that makes him feel like he wants to do things that are unjustly,
Mm.
are are sexually charged
Mm.
in a way where he wants to engage in activities that would be looked and frowned down
Upon
on and looked
society.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is still in denial
Mm.
of these things. And I'm looking at him and I'm listening to him talk, and he's so in denial, but he explains to me it's not about him wanting to have these type of encounters, but it's more so because of what you just said about how men think and feel, in the privilege and
Mm.
the dominance and the control that he feels that he has within
Yes.
him, just to
Mm-hmm.
say, you want it, I'm gonna give it to you,
Mm.
but would never admit it.
Yep.
And I'm like, what? Oh God, I wish I could talk freely. I mean, it's just something that it's like one of those taboo situations. And
Mm.
I couldn't believe like I was sitting and having this kind of conversation, but it really made me kind of look at men. It not all men. I'm not saying all men, but
Yeah.
just
No.
kind of look at men and how like the brain, how you think about things.
Mm.
It's completely way off than what
Yep.
we think, how you guys really think.
Yep.
And that's why it's like when they say men are from Venus and women are from Mars
Mars.
or whatever, it's true.
Mm.
It's true. And I'm gonna keep it 100 too. And this is golly, this is not my interview, but
No. No. But
me
I'm just
being
good. Mm-hmm.
me being in the entertainment world that I was
Mm.
in for the 10 years that I was in it, I was able to talk to a lot of men too. And how I am now, and like how you like to sit and talk to people and digest situations, I did the same thing. And it was crazy because I'm in this kind of environment and I'm asking him questions like, why are you here?
Mm.
Like, like what, like, have you ever cheated on your wife? Like, do you cheat on your wife? Like, what do you get out of cheating? Like, how long have you been married? Like, why do men cheat? Like, I mean,
Mm.
and half of these men were married men, and I'm just looking at them like I never want to get married ever. Like, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And I think that if this is something that you are bringing to your platform in this podcast, honey, you're about to take it to the next level.
It's about to get real.
You're because what I know and what a lot of people don't know, when you guys hear it and when you guys find out, y'all are going to be blown away.
And do you know what's interesting as well? Because what you just said there, even if I do bring, and this is the difficulty behind the subjects like this, is that even if you bring people who have gone through it, the ability to articulate what is going through the mind at the time of these things is the hardest part, because
Mhm.
not a lot of men have the language to be able to explain
Mhm.
what they're going through. This is why it sounds so dark when I'm saying it, but it's because I'm saying it in its plainest form. It is that dark. It probably is even a bit more darker than you realize,
Yeah.
but it's the explanation that will give the
Yeah.
light. Because a lot of men will tell you, for instance, a lot of men will if I say, "Oh, bro, how do you get these girls?" They will tell you maybe, "Oh, I smile and I'm confident." Da, 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 da. But they won't be able to tell you there are little minute things that they're doing that gives them this advantage, right? Oh, that gives them this advantage that makes them this or makes them that. And it's those little things that are actually the important information. So, for instance, when we're talking about the subject about, let's say, F boys, right?
Mhm.
Okay, you're an F boy, but why? Oh,
Mhm.
bro, like I just like to play, I just like to have different women, or you'll get a basic answer. I don't want to be hurt. Okay, but let's dig deeper. We need more than just you don't want to be hurt. There is a whole spectrum of thoughts that are going in that moment that are affecting you as to why you're choosing to really do it. Because
Right.
when you are faced with your darkness, there are two options: embrace it and say, actually, this, you know what? this was me and I'm not trying to be this no more, or two, you turn away from it. Those who turn away from it, ignore it, and more darkness continues to grow
Yep.
because they're refusing to stand in the light of the situation.
Yep.
And a lot of men, even when they will accept a little bit of their madness, but they won't accept the whole of it, right? By going, like, yeah, I played a few women in that, but that's all I did. No, let's keep it a buck, bro. Yeah, you took advantage. Right? I'm not talking about rape or anything. I'm talking about just you took advantage. You knew, you specifically. And when I tell people this as well, us men, we hunt.
Yes.
We hunt.
Yes.
Right? If I'm looking to, let me put it this way, if I want sex, right, I'm looking for a specific type of girl. It's not every girl that I'm going for. Because as a man, what I want is a clean exit. I don't need you getting messy. Now, there's some men that will like the messiness.
Right.
Be careful those kind of men because they really like messiness. You know what I mean? But a lot of us men want to get in, get out, and be as clean as possible. So we're looking for people. Let's keep it a buck. We're looking for poor boundaries. We're looking for low self-esteem. We're looking for low confidence.
Yep.
We're looking for somebody who is freaky deaky, and we're not asking questions as to why you're freaky deaky.
Yep.
All right. And let's keep it a buck here. We're really not asking questions, especially if, and this may sound dark, but if you understand the psyche of when it comes especially to sex, a lot of people are dealing with actual issues. This is why you're here. It's not just you just like someone. A lot of people, it's not just because I like sex. It's because some of you've gone through things that have now taken you to the space where sex becomes your language. This is what you communicate with. This is what you deal
filling
with.
Something, filling a void.
Something. Yeah, filling a void. We don't care.
Yeah.
If anything, we're not asking questions. We don't want to ask questions. I don't want to know. I just need to get what I need to get. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Right. And so these are some of the darker thoughts that we will ignore, because if we actually have to address it, I got to change my behavior. Let's keep it up, to be real. It's the honest truth. And it goes both ways. It's not just F boys. There are women out there too do the same thing. You know what, men out there, it's dark thoughts too, but we're focusing on the men. We have these thoughts.
Yeah.
We think about it. It's premeditated. I didn't just fall into you. I chose you. I saw you. I know. And even as I said to you, that even me myself, I have to almost check myself. Yeah. In fact, it happened at a gym today, right? I'm filming a video. I'm very conscious of my surroundings when I'm doing anything. It's just my hyper alertness. One girl was at the top of the stairs. I've seen her. I looked at her. I went back to my video. She came down the stairs. I was like, "Oh, you're dancing." She didn't know I put an extra step in my dance because I knew it was coming down the steps. It's a lot of our stuff is premeditated.
Yeah.
So yeah, just talking about the men today, but
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's a crazy thing, and I'm going to say this because I have fallen to prey to those type of men in the past. And it took me a long time to heal. It took me a long time to go back and recognize exactly what red flags that I chose to ignore, that I didn't see that was right in my face, and I really had to and even before then, I was in a place in my life where I was like, oh, I'm confident, I'm good, like I don't, you know what I'm saying, like you really realized how you don't realize how weak you are until you have been literally brought low by a man or someone that you've dated, and you really thought that you had it together. You really do think like I got this, and can't nobody play me, can't nobody. And I got so played a few times, and I was like, what the hell? And it's so crazy. But it took me like years and years and years for me to get to that place where I'm like, I think, and I'm still learning, but I got to that place where I was like, I think I figured it out. Like, I think I'm almost there. I'm still learning, but like, that big piece of the pie of 3.14, that big piece that I need to figure out that equation on how I need to move forward in situationships, in relationships, in friendships, and anything that I do. I have to show up as this healed person, as this person that I had to study and learn. Because one thing I had to figure out was, at the end of the day, these guys might have done these things to me, but who's the common denominator?
Yeah.
Me. So it was time for me to start changing up. And I say it all the time, you keep doing the same things, you're going to keep getting the same results. So I had to change. I had to kill the old me, and the new me had to be reborn, or not reborn, but to be born. And I think that's exactly why ironically, when I came into the process that I did for the show, like I came in knowing like, yeah, homie, like you can't really play me right now. Like I'm not that little girl like I was 5 years ago. Like I hope y'all come correct, because I'm gonna call you out, and that's just how I'm going, and it is what it is. But it's an unfortunate situation that a lot of us are gonna have to go through those things, because we aren't healed yet.
Yeah.
We aren't healed. No matter how much you think, oh, I got this, I'm confident, I know my worth, I know. And then guess what? He done did this, he done did that, he done did, and then you looking like pooty butt, and you like, dang, I thought I was good, I thought I was healed, I thought, no, because the healed you, the one that really knows their worth, the confident you, the secure you, the proud of you would not have allowed you to go through that foolishness that you just went through. And a lot of times we do lie to ourselves. You know why? Because it's a safe space.
Come on,
honey, don't get me to start preaching, but that's on okay, we get back to your show, Little Black Book.
This is still the show. This is still the show. This is what we do. This is part of the show. Look what I'm seeing the comments that say this is necessary conversation, Sabrina. This is what we're doing. This is the missing link that we've been talking about.
The missing link, honey.
This is the missing link.
I love it. Okay. Oh God. Oh.
This is deep stuff, Sabrina. This is deep stuff,
Let me tell, like the hairs, like I have goosebumps. I have goosebumps right now. I don't know if you guys can see. Like I have goosebumps.
This is when the convo gets deep. And you know what's so interesting, what you just said, Sabrina, as well, is, and this is something I've been trying to think about. Knowledge is such an important factor in our situations, right? So if you have enough information, you may be fooled once, but on the second time, you will start to utilize the information you've got. Problem is a lot of us don't have information at all. Yeah. So we go through 2, 3, 4 times because we're actually collecting data. We're still collecting information. But you probably even testify to this. Anything your mother or your father has said to you, right? Maybe the first time you didn't hear it. It's in there. First time you didn't listen. But the second time you say, it's not going to be me that's going to get fooled again because my dad or my mom said this last time, and you hear it and you just go with it, right? And so a lot of us haven't been told certain things. So we're actually having to hear it 3 or 4 times. The problem is the 3 or 4th time your heart being broken is very painful. Yeah. And it's very hard, especially if you've gone through very difficult breakups. And so, the difference between a lot of people finding that safe space to be in a good relationship, oftentimes is just key information. Yeah. For instance, we're now very much accustomed to using the N-word, narcissism, right? But a lot of people don't know the actual contributions of what a narcissist actually does. We just know that there's certain little things. Oh, he's a narcissist, or she's a narcissist. But do you actually know what narcissists actually do? Because if you know exactly what they do, then what happens is when you meet one, you kind of spot them from early. Now, you might get played once, you might do, right? But that second time, it won't be you. It won't be you, because you're like, they fooled me the first time, but I have information and I now know this is true, and it's my truth. And that's the difference. Knowledge that becomes your truth, you live by. Knowledge that becomes knowledge, you don't live by. You just hold it. And so this is like what we're talking about, faith and belief, even in the Christian realm. That's the same thing. It has to become your truth so you can live by it. And so these conversations that we're having, someone is hearing this, it's going to hopefully becomes their truth. If not, it's information. But if you get played the first time, the second time, you're going to know. You're going to know the next time. It ain't going to be me. Yep. Right? Sabrina told me. It ain't going to be me.
honey. But you gotta, like you said, you gotta trust the process. And you really have to have faith and trust in the processes. saying to yourself, you know what, it's okay that that relationship failed. It's okay that that
That's a good
friendship
one.
didn't work out. It's
Mm,
okay. I'm not perfect. And guess what? It's okay. I will be okay. I'm not perfect. I'm going to become the person that I need to be every day. Like it's okay. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. And because that's something that I used to go through years ago, because I wasn't at that place, and I used to beat myself up about it like every day. Like, how come you're not this? How come you didn't learn that? How come you didn't see the red flags? How come you let them talk to you like this? How come this? How come, you know what I mean? And once you say to yourself, you know what, it's okay.
mm,
It's okay. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to trust your process. Like you said, just in the digital content world, my day one is not going to be your day one. If I'm on day 326 and this is the life that I'm at right now, this is where I am spiritually,
speak on
emotionally,
it.
mentally, and it took me 9,562 days to get here. Your day 100 is not going to be my 9,654 day.
Speak on it. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Speak on it.
and you're going to have to be okay with that. And everyone's journey is different. And I think once we say it's okay to ourselves, we forgive ourselves,
Mm,
we're able to move forward and move past the past. It's hard. It's not going to be easy. You just have
mm,
to take it day by day. You have to trust the
mm.
process. Do I have you speechless?
Got me in
Woo!
that rocking motion, that rocking motion.
What?
See, it's the kind of convos that need to be had. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Life wasn't meant to be beautiful and unicorns and fairy dust and so wonderful and amazing. And you wake up every morning and you hear the birds singing and you smell the coffee and you see the beautiful sun rays coming down at you. That's not life, not even a little bit.
Mm. Which
Not
is
even a
why that
little bit.
fantasy sometimes needs to be destroyed.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Life is some BS.
Honestly, and you know the funny thing, and maybe this. I was thinking about this when I came back from South Africa. Right, I was on the plane. I got back into my house, and I just said to God, you know what? I just find it so funny. I'm like, the best, and it's going to sound so weird, but it's so true. The
Mm,
best day of my life in more of my adulthood is the day that a girl broke my heart. Not the first girlfriend, but one of my other girlfriends broke
mhm,
my heart,
mhm.
fully broke it. Because
Yeah.
what she didn't just break my heart, she broke the fantasy, the naivety,
Mm.
right? Because there was a
You
lot
took
of
the
that.
blue pill. You took
That
the
yeah,
she made you take the blue
she made me
pill.
take it, man. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because had she not, I would have
Mhm.
not been able to see the world as it really actually is.
Yep.
And it's like that moment for me was like, whoa,
Mhm.
I got issues. Not forget about what she did. I
Yep.
got issues because
Yep.
I was giving it all. I was worshiping the person, and they're not
Yeah.
realizing. So then you realize, whoa, like okay, there are key moments in life where sometimes, you know what, heartache, pain, these things
Mhm.
are to shake you and to wake you up because some of us are really like on this roller coaster that's really
Yep.
smooth, no bumps, no ups, no downs. It's just going along the path. And you just need someone to shock your world because without that, you're living in a fantasy. It's a
Yep.
dream world and it's not real. The
Yep.
reality is the world is dark. The reality is,
Yep.
yes, you need to guard your heart. The reality is, some people are waiting to take advantage of you. So you do
Yep.
need to protect yourself in the way that you move. You
Yep.
can't go everywhere because there are some things that will happen if you go to certain areas. It's unfortunate. You being black, well, we all know this one. That reality hit us really early. You black. It's,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but there are going to be some things that are not going to be beneficial. They won't work for you in the same way it's worked for someone who's white. It's unfortunate, but you came to that reality, and relationships are no different. There's a
Yep.
reality that one must come into, and it's be like that naivete, that fantasy has got to go.
Honey, what is made high will be brought low.
Mm,
And that was my reality about 11 years ago.
mm,
Like, I had to hit rock bottom. I literally felt like I was going to kill myself or something was going to kill me.
mm, mm,
And and life hit me upside the head. And I had to figure it out. And I remember I prayed and prayed and prayed on it literally almost every day for like 6 months, almost every day. And I was like, I really have to get me together and my life together. And I was like, because if this is what hitting rock bottom
Right.
is, I would not wish this. It was the most pain I had ever felt in my life. And it felt like heartache, but physically, like it was unexplainable.
Mm.
And no one had broken my heart.
Mm.
Life just
Done that.
caught up with me.
Ooh.
And I promise you on everything, I would not wish
That pain.
that feeling and that pain
Yep.
on everyone. I remember for about 2 weeks straight, I remember I ended up going to my parents' house. And I remember I called my mom on a Tuesday. I was like, Mom, you have to come get me. And I had,
Mm.
house up north and everything. I was like, Mom, you have to come get me. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't want to live in this house anymore. I was like, I feel like something's going to kill me here. I was
Mm.
like, I just don't want to be here anymore. She was like, well, when do you want to leave? And I was like, yesterday. I called her on Tuesday. She showed up at my house on Thursday with a U-Haul. 2 men packed all my stuff, headed back south. And I remember I stayed in bed for 2 weeks, literally just laid there to the point my mom had to feed me.
Mm.
And she had to give me water and,
Come on.
and give me something to drink. The only time I got up was just to use the bathroom. I didn't shower. I didn't do anything. I literally had my head on the pillow and she would have to feed me because I had given up,
That's it.
and like you say, and it's like taking that blue pill.
Mm.
And once you take that pill, and when reality really hits you and you start trying to really figure things out, that's when you realize exactly like what life is, what you need to do in this life. You start looking at it from a different set of eyes,
Eyes.
and a lot of people haven't gotten to that place or never have experienced that downfall. But the people that have, when I share my stories with them and they share their stories with me, it's kind of almost the same.
Mm.
Different experiences though,
Mm.
you know.
Mm. Maybe my final thought on this is heart. You know what? It's so interesting that you described that heartbreak, because that heartbreak that you feel, and even like you're saying, life kind of heartbreak, I think I don't want to say necessity, but for some people, it is a part of their redemption arc.
Mhm.
It's what's needed to really fulfill the story when they get to the end, to
Yeah.
say this person's a champion.
Mhm.
And I know it sounds bad. It's like, wow, why'd I have to go through all of that? I'm like, I don't know why someone has to go through that. I don't know why. I'm going to say I don't know why. I don't know why it has to be you. I'm not sure why, or why it has to be me. But those things, when one can survive them
Mm.
and they can turn them into weapons,
Yep.
it honestly creates, good monsters, because they're able to say and do things that others wish they could say or
Right.
do, but you now become the spokesperson for them. A bit
Yep.
much like how you were saying about on the show, similar, the same thing, where because of what you have been through, you can now
Mhm.
become the spokesperson and speak on behalf of what other people couldn't speak. You
Yep.
know, it's that same thing. Those knives that were cutting you beforehand now become part of the speakerphone, the megaphone that allows you to now hold deep and say, hey, I've been through this and I'm not allowed to let anyone else go through this either around me. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna speak up.
That's right.
I'm gonna talk up right now. And it's like, leaders are born that way. That's
Yeah.
what I want to say. Leaders are born that way. And so, yeah, you can't have a hero. DC and Marvel might tell us, it's hard to have a hero who hasn't got one of those crazy origins,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate, but it's like, that's the reality of the life that we live, unfortunately. It's dark, it's
Yes.
painful, and it's not always sweet. Um, and so it's people who go through these scenarios who can now pick up the microphone, the megaphone, the speakerphone, and speak truth. They've gone through things to be able to do that. It's not just Because if you've never felt the wind blow, my friend, you come to speak on the microphone once. When someone says get off the mic, you will get off. Those who have gone through things, when things are coming their way, being hurtled at them as they're speaking,
Mhm.
you don't. It's not phasing you because you know I've been through worse. I'm so sorry, but I've been through worse. I can't sit down because you are getting vexed or annoyed, or you're getting a little bit ashy with me or what. No, I'm gonna keep on going. So you better be prepared for what's coming because there's a hurricane coming your way. But yeah,
Yeah.
heartbreak can do that to you, man.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. I used to always say, God, why me?
Mm,
And he said, because I knew you were strong enough.
mm,
That's facts.
yeah.
Yes. Kojo,
Oof.
you need to
Oh, where did we
tell,
go?
honey,
Where
I
did
don't
we
even,
go?
this ain't even an interview no more. This was amazing. That's all I know.
I don't know how we got here. My
So,
bad.
but that's one thing that I have so much faith in my steps that I take every day, every morning,
Amen.
every inch, that I don't question my steps at all. I literally walk by faith and not by sight. And if it was a
Mm,
reason for us to go down this direction, then
that's the
whatever
reason.
reason it was
Yeah.
supposed to happen. So I'm loving it. Obviously, it's someone out there that needed to hear this testimony.
Missing
And
link.
I'm here for it. I love it. Please let everyone know where they can find you, Kojo Ampadu.
Thank you. I love that. Guys, you can find me on YouTube as Little Blackbird 91. You can also find me on Instagram, Little Blackbird 91. You can find me on Twitter, Little Blackbird 91 underscore. LBB 91 underscore on Twitter. You can also find me on TikTok. It's at Black Muscle 91. You can find me those places. So yeah, it's been gracious, and yeah, you can find me in all those places. Yeah,
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for coming on this
it's a
platform. You
blessing,
have
man.
been amazing. And I know that, yeah, everyone's waiting for your podcast.
Yeah.
Right, because that's how we got started on this. But everyone's waiting. So you guys heard him before we get off. He said, any F boys, any F girls, anybody that's
Hit me
with
up.
XYZ, hit Kojo up, slide in his DM because he's looking for you. Thank you so much, guys, for watching The Missing Link with Kojo. Until the next link.